Hello and welcome to Beauty Interview number 7 with the lovely Karina Kubota. A few years ago, Karina embarked on a very courageous journey towards discovering her authentic self and finding her truth. She ditched her job working in the corporate world as a digital learning consultant, became a translator, an actress, and also a yoga instructor. I just love the way Karina expresses herself in a simple, beautiful, and elegant way. So enjoy. Thank you, Karina, for being here today.
Thank you.
Now, the first question, which is the one about the image in the mirror. So, what do you see, Karina, when you look at yourself in the
I
mirror?
love this question and I hate this question. I see a person, but I'm not always sure it's me, if that makes sense. And depending on days, I'm happy to see that person. And sometimes I don't want to look at this person. I try not to look at myself thinking, how do I look? I mean, we do, a lot. But I try to make an effort to look at myself differently than just from the social mask.
Do you talk to yourself in the mirror? Do you, for example, say encouraging things to yourself?
Not out loud. I would look at myself and yes, but maybe it's more of the internal dialogue going on, which is not always helpful. At times when I'm really happy to see myself, then I feel grateful for being in that moment and feeling that way, which can be positive or proud of myself sometimes.
Do you feel beautiful?
Yes and no. Yes, at times no. I think when I'm in a good place, then I tend to be more kind to myself. When I'm not, I usually blame myself for not doing enough. And when that happens, then I tend to look at myself and not finding myself beautiful. Finding myself beautiful has a lot to do with how I treat myself day to day, like health-wise, and what I've succeeded in doing. If I set some goals for the day, for the week, and then things didn't happen the way I wanted them to happen, then I tend to be harsh with myself. And so that reflects on then how I see myself.
Are there things that you like, that you love in your body, and things that you don't love so much?
Okay. So, funnily enough, I sort of consider myself, in terms of liking my body or not, as my face and then my body. I just consider them a little bit differently, maybe because my face, or everybody's face, is the first thing that people see. I like my body. I like my body. I'm 46 years old. I just turned 46. And I'm actually very grateful most days to have the body I have and the face that I have at my age. Even when I, find myself ugly, sometimes. But what I like particularly, I like my waist in my body. I like my waist.
Have you always had this type of relationship with your mirror? Or do you find it's improved over time?
I'm afraid it's not really improving. Because for many years, I would look at myself and would be excited about advancing in life and in age, and looking forward to see, what I would look like down the road. And now it's a little bit different. I'm noticing some changes, and I will have a little bit of work to do with that. And I'm not there yet. So it is changing in that I'm now a little bit more fearful is a very strong word, but a little bit like, like when you meet someone you don't know and you're sort of like assessing, what is their energy like? Who are they? So sometimes I have that reaction to myself, which I didn't really have when I was younger. I would just go, this is what I look like today. And now, more often than not, it's, more gray hair today, more this, more that. So it is changing in that way, in that I'm changing in a way that I didn't used to think about. And now I'm wondering where it's going. I don't know. I'm hoping that by making myself happy, it will come out.
You mentioned a bit earlier that sometimes you don't know who it is that you're looking at in the mirror. Could you tell me a bit more about this? And how much of yourself do you recognize in the mirror? And then when you don't know who's in the mirror, then what's that presence in the mirror?
Who is it? You tell me. I ask myself that. Those days when I look at the mirror and I'm not quite sure who this person is today, but at the same time it's exciting. Because I'm also looking for things that I don't know about me. And I really like this whole life adventure, which growing up and in my early 20s, I thought, one day I'll know who I am. I'm working to know who I am. But now I know that I will never know. And I'm just changing over time, evolving, hopefully. And so on those days, I'm curious. I don't often have any answers, but I'm curious. And if I'm in a good mood, I'll laugh. Like who is this today? And if I'm not quite happy, I will be a little bit more anxious. Oh, well, then who is this? So I don't know who that person is.
Do you ever edit pictures of yourself on social media?
Guilty as charged. I do, but not too much. I always take photos naturally. Like I do not select, a setting on my phone that will change the way I look when I take the picture. I always take a picture of me, the way I look, and then the things that will change will be maybe the lighting a little bit, or if I if I'm not happy about wrinkles or something of that nature, I will make it black and white at times. And sometimes I don't care. And sometimes I kind of like a photo, but I will not post it because it doesn't correspond to my public face, I have to say. I am self-conscious.
Do you like receiving compliments about your looks?
I do. Maybe it's cultural. When somebody pays you a compliment or like, oh, thank you. I didn't used to know how to say thank you to that. But now I really welcome it with all my heart and say thank you. But sometimes I say thank you and I'm really grateful for that compliment. But also there's a little voice in my head that say, I don't know why they think I'm beautiful, but I'll take it.
Well, because you are. You don't need a reason to be.
I will just say I don't find myself beautiful a lot. Sometimes.
Karina, you've spent many years in the USA, and I know that you love this country a lot. Do you have an idea, a perception that maybe beauty is understood in different ways in the US compared to France? I'm talking about outer beauty, of course.
I think so. I think the standards, if we can call them that, are a little bit different. For instance, breasts are very important in America. They are both important and shameful. Anything sexual, even if it's just a nude body, is going to be considered sexual and something to be hidden. And one thing I noticed is people do not look at each other that much. I remember this being very striking when I first lived there. I thought people didn't find me good looking. In France, people look at each other a lot. So I don't know if it has to do with beauty or connection, but I remember feeling that people were not looking at me over there, and then maybe they didn't find me beautiful. So I think there's differences then in how physical appearance is perceived. And then when I would come back to France on vacation, then I was feeling very self-conscious because all of a sudden people were looking at me all the time and I wasn't used to it anymore. And I would literally check my clothes on my nose because people were looking at me a lot. And I thought, what's wrong? Which also says a lot.
Karina, let's play a little game.
Okay.
So you choose a card, read it out loud, and then tell me what you think.
This one is calling me. Different is beautiful. Dare to be different. Unknown. I love this quote. I love it, but even more than that. It reminds me of what my mother told me one day. I was coming back from school. I was maybe 7 years old. And I was upset. Something happened in school. I don't remember exactly the details now, but I went home and I told my mom, "Mom, I want to be like everybody else." Maybe somebody picked on me or something about my eyes or something. I don't recall. And then my mother told me, "Sit down." She said, "Listen, you are different, and it's beautiful, and you should be proud to be beautiful. And the most beautiful children are mixed race children, and enjoy that. So this quote, "Different is beautiful, dare to be different," just reminded me of that right now. So I love it. It also moves me because it's a reminder of what my mother told me, and it's also something that I don't always embrace as much as I should when I'm not in a good place. And yes, and even today, being an actor and looking different. A lot of people will say, "Oh, but this is really a good thing because there's less of you and this and that." And most of the time I feel then I have less opportunities because of how I look and because of my age and because of my gender. And so I really like this because it's uplifting.
It's a way of life.
And it's true. I mean, who wants a world where everybody looks the same?
It'd be hell. You really are beautiful, Karina, and it's been an honor to have you with us today. Thank you so much.
It's mine. It's mine. Thank you.
Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. À bientôt. Bisous.